Sometimes, before the storm clears, it gets louder. Before the breakthrough, the pressure builds. Before you receive something big, God will often strip away everything that is small. You may feel like you're losing, but in truth, you're being prepared. When God is about to give you something big, the first step is almost always preparation. Before you are promoted, before the doors swing open, before the opportunity presents itself, there is a process designed to build you from the inside out. This preparation isn't always visible to others, and it rarely feels exciting. It often comes wrapped in trials, tests, and moments that feel like setbacks. But in truth, they are setups, divinely orchestrated to grow you into the person who can handle the magnitude of what's coming. If the promotion came too soon, it could crush you. But when you're prepared, you don't just receive the blessing, you sustain it. Many people ask for big things without understanding that big things come with big weight. Responsibility increases, expectations rise, and the pressure doesn't disappear once you get what you prayed for. It multiplies. That's why God prepares you in silence. He strengthens your roots before he allows your branches to stretch. He teaches you patience, humility, discipline, and endurance in the quiet seasons. These lessons don't come from comfort. They come from hardship. The delays, the closed doors, the people walking away. These are all part of the preparation. You might be wondering why things are taking so long, why the breakthrough hasn't come yet, why you feel like nothing is changing, but in the unseen, something powerful is being built. God is refining your character, aligning your heart, and removing what no longer serves your purpose. He is clearing space, not just externally, but within you. So you'll have room for what he's about to release. If he gave it to you now, it might be too much. But when the time is right and you are ready, it will arrive effortlessly because you've been prepared to receive it. The process of preparation can be painful. It may involve loss. It may include seasons where you feel like you're in the dark. But just like a seed buried in the soil, growth happens where no one can see it. Your roots are taking hold, your strength is increasing, and your foundation is being laid deep, so when the storm comes, and it will, you won't be shaken. You'll stand firm not because you were lucky, but because you were ready. And that readiness didn't come overnight. It was forged in fire, in faith, and in the unseen hours where you chose to keep going even when it felt like nothing was happening. Preparation is not punishment. It is proof that something greater is on the way. God does not waste time or effort. Everything you're enduring now is connected to the elevation ahead. So don't rush the process. Trust that you're not being delayed. You're being designed for something your current self couldn't yet carry. And when the moment comes, you'll realize the preparation was never in vain. It was necessary, and it was sacred. Discomfort is one of the clearest signals that growth is taking place. When everything around you feels unfamiliar, when your routines are shaken, when you are pushed out of what feels safe and predictable, that is often the evidence that you are being stretched into a new version of yourself. Growth does not happen in comfort zones. It happens in the tension, in the resistance, and in the places where you feel uncertain, challenged, or even overwhelmed. That unease you feel is not a sign that something is wrong. It is often a divine indicator that you are being led towards something greater than what you've known before. In life, we are naturally drawn to ease, to patterns, to comfort. But comfort doesn't demand much from us. It doesn't test our patience. It doesn't build our strength. And it doesn't prepare us for what lies ahead. Discomfort, on the other hand, pushes us to make decisions, to confront truth, to deal with what we've ignored, and to step into responsibilities that we may not feel fully ready for. The discomfort is not there to break you. It's there to build you. It is refining your character, shaping your perspective, and increasing your resilience. You might be going through a season where you feel like nothing is working, like doors are closing, relationships are shifting, and your spirit feels unsettled. That is not random, it is purposeful. That tension you feel is stretching your capacity. It's expanding your understanding and forcing you to rely on God more than ever before. Discomfort teaches you to pray deeper, to listen more closely, to trust in silence, and to believe when there is no visible reason to believe. It strips away the illusions of control and draws out the truth of your faith. Growth rarely feels good in the moment. It feels like loss, confusion, frustration, and even fear. But when you look back on the most transformative moments of your life, they will almost always be the ones that challenged you the most. It's in those seasons of discomfort that your mindset shifts, your priorities realign, and your spirit matures. You begin to outgrow the old version of yourself, not because you wanted to, but because the pressure made staying the same unbearable. That discomfort forced change, and in that change, you found strength you didn't know you had. When you feel uncomfortable, you are standing in a sacred space. You are on the edge of evolution, and while it may not feel like progress, something inside you is being stretched, developed, and prepared for what comes next. Don't resist the discomfort. Let it teach you, shape you, and lead you, because what feels like pressure today is actually the process of becoming. And when the season shifts and peace returns, you will carry something new within you. Wisdom, endurance, clarity, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've grown. Delay is not denial. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it will never happen. In fact, delay is often a necessary part of the journey to something greater. It's easy to grow discouraged when doors don't open as quickly as we hoped, when prayers seem unanswered, or when plans don't unfold on our timeline. But the truth is, divine timing is different from human timing. God's delays are not his rejections. They are his way of aligning everything perfectly for your good. What feels like a pause is often a sacred process happening behind the scenes. In the waiting, there is refinement. There is growth, preparation, and transformation that occurs when we are forced to sit still and trust. Delay doesn't mean that you're forgotten. It means you're being matured. There are things in you that need to be strengthened before you step into what you've been praying for. There are people who need to leave, circumstances that need to shift, and lessons you must learn. If the blessing arrived too early, it might overwhelm you. But when it comes at the appointed time, you'll be ready, not just to receive it, but to carry it with wisdom. Delay teaches you to deepen your faith. When everything is quiet, when it seems like nothing is changing, when your efforts go unseen and unrewarded, that is when trust is built. That is when you choose to believe not because of what you see, but because of what you know. You know that God is faithful. You know that promises don't expire. You know that just because the road is longer than expected doesn't mean the destination isn't real. Delay draws you closer to the one who gave you the vision in the first place. It strips away pride, impatience, and fear and replaces it with humility, surrender, and strength. Sometimes we mistake silence for absence, but in God's kingdom, silence is often a sign of preparation. He is working in the details, orchestrating connections, protecting you from things you can't see, and ensuring that when your moment arrives, everything will be in place. Delay forces you to let go of control. It challenges you to release your own timeline and embrace divine timing, which is always wiser, always better, and always on time, even when it feels late. If you're in a season of delay, don't give up. Don't let discouragement convince you that the delay is a dead end. It's not the end of the story. It's a chapter that strengthens the plot. The longer the delay, the greater the development, and the greater the development, the more powerful the outcome. What's meant for you is still on the way. You haven't missed it, and it hasn't been cancelled. You are not being punished. You're being positioned. Every delay carries a purpose, and when it finally arrives, you'll understand why it took the time it did. Because delay is not denial, it's divine design. Silence tests faith in ways that nothing else can. When everything goes quiet, when the answers don't come, when the doors don't open, when the signs aren't visible, it creates a sacred space where your belief is either shaken or strengthened. In that silence, your heart is exposed, not to others, but to yourself. You begin to see what you really trust in, what you're really anchored to, and whether your faith is conditional or unwavering. It's easy to believe when the blessings are flowing and the path is clear, but real faith is proven when nothing seems to be happening at all. There are moments when you pray and hear nothing, when you seek direction and get no response, when you try your best to move forward and feel like you're walking through fog. Those are not empty moments. They are divine examinations. God doesn't go silent because he has forgotten you. He goes silent to grow you, to teach you how to lean not on what you feel, but on what you know. In the silence, your spiritual ears become sharper. You learn to distinguish between your own voice and God's whisper. You begin to understand that faith is not about constant reassurance. It's about consistent trust. Silence is uncomfortable. It can make you question everything, your decisions, your worth, your future. But it's also where the deepest growth happens. When God is silent, he is watching. He's observing how you respond, what you speak, how you wait. He's looking at your attitude, your endurance, your character. Do you trust him only when you hear him, or do you trust that he's still working even when he's not speaking? Faith that survives silence is faith that's unshakable. It's faith that moves mountains, not because it sees the mountain falling, but because it knows who moves it. In those silent seasons, your heart may grow weary. Doubt may creep in. But if you look back at your life, you'll see that some of the most powerful breakthroughs came after seasons of silence. That's not a coincidence. That's how God works. He often goes quiet right before he does something extraordinary. The silence is not abandonment. It's incubation. Something is being birthed in that stillness. Your patience is being strengthened. Your perspective is being aligned. Your roots are growing deeper, so that when the blessing finally arrives, you won't be swayed by every wind. Faith doesn't just believe when things are loud, clear, and obvious. Faith holds on when there's no signal, no confirmation, and no update. It says, even if I don't hear him, I know he's near. Even if I don't see the way, I know he's making one. The silence becomes a sanctuary, a proving ground for real belief. So when life grows quiet, lean in closer, not to the noise of the world, but to the stillness of your spirit. That's where faith finds its voice, and where your relationship with God moves from surface, level to soul, deep. Because silence doesn't break faith, it builds it. Pain has a purpose, even when it doesn't feel like it. It's easy to want to escape discomfort, to run from struggle, to avoid the breaking. But some of the most powerful transformations in life are born from pain. Not because pain is pleasant, but because it's honest. Pain doesn't lie. It reveals where healing is needed, where growth must happen, and where strength is waiting to be uncovered. In the hands of God, pain is not wasted. It is used, shaped, and directed towards something greater than the moment you're in. It's not random. It's not cruel. It's intentional. When you walk through pain, you're walking through the fire that refines, not destroys. It burns off the fear, the pride, the illusions. It reveals your limits and shows you how much you depend on your own strength instead of divine strength. In pain, you are confronted with the truth of who you are, and more importantly, with the truth of who God is. He doesn't always stop the pain immediately, but he walks through it with you. He doesn't always provide an explanation, but he always brings transformation. Pain may feel like a prison, but in reality, it's preparation. You're not being broken down, you're being built up. Many of life's greatest lessons are only truly understood through struggle. Pain teaches you patience, it teaches you humility, it opens your eyes to what really matters. It peels away the superficial and brings you face to face with what's real. Through pain, you learn compassion for others. You learn empathy. You gain a strength you never knew you needed until life demanded it from you. Every tear, every sleepless night, every unanswered question has the potential to carry you closer to purpose, if you let it. Sometimes, pain is what pushes you into your calling. Without it, you might stay stuck in what's comfortable, in what's easy, in what's familiar. Pain forces change. It makes you reevaluate your decisions, your relationships, your path. It draws you nearer to God because you begin to realize that no one else can carry the weight the way He can. In that space of deep hurt, His presence becomes more real, more powerful, more necessary than ever before. And slowly, the pain begins to reshape you, not into someone bitter, but into someone better. Stronger, wiser, deeper. You may not understand why you had to go through what you did, and maybe the explanation will never come in the way you want, but the purpose will reveal itself in time. The scars will tell stories of survival. The trials will become testimonies. What was once a burden will become a bridge to help others who are walking where you once walked. The pain will not be the end of you. It will be the making of you. Because in God's plan, nothing is wasted, not even your suffering. The pain may be part of the process, but it's not your final destination. It's the tool that prepares you for the weight of what's coming. And one day, you'll look back and see that the pain had a purpose far greater than the moment you endured it. Big blessings require big character. Many people ask for more influence, more success, more wealth, more recognition, but few realize that the size of the blessing is directly tied to the strength of the person receiving it. If the foundation isn't strong enough, the weight of the blessing can actually become a burden. That's why God doesn't just give you what you pray for. He shapes you into the kind of person who can carry it. Before He expands what you have, He expands who you are. Character isn't just important, it's essential. It's what sustains you when pressure rises, when temptation knocks, and when responsibilities multiply. You don't build character in the spotlight. You build it in the shadows. In the moments when no one sees your sacrifice, when no one applauds your faithfulness, when you choose to do what's right even when it's hard, that's where integrity is forged. That's where humility grows. That's where self-discipline, consistency, and patience are developed. Without character, a blessing becomes temporary. With character, that same blessing becomes a legacy, because character doesn't just get you through the door, it keeps you in the room. People often want the promise without the process, but the process is what prepares you. It tests you, stretches you, and teaches you how to manage what's coming. Character is what helps you stay grounded when success tries to inflate your ego. It reminds you to give when you're blessed, to stay kind when you have power, and to remain grateful when you've achieved everything you once asked for. Without character, a promotion can lead to pride. Without character, abundance can lead to arrogance. But with character, blessings become tools for impact, not just trophies for your ego. God will never give you something that will destroy you. So if it hasn't arrived yet, it may be because He's still building the character you need to carry it. That's not punishment, it's protection. You're not being overlooked. You're being developed, because big blessings come with big responsibilities. They require strength, wisdom, and maturity, and those things don't come overnight. They come through obedience in the small things, through stewardship of what you already have, through learning how to lead yourself before you're trusted to lead others. Your character is your anchor. It's what holds you steady when storms come. It's what guides your decisions when the pressure is high. It's what allows you to be trusted with influence, authority, and resources. And when you have that kind of character, the blessings that come your way won't change you. They'll reveal you. They'll reflect the strength, the integrity, and the faith that's been formed deep within. You'll be able to handle more, not because of how talented you are, but because of how grounded you've become. The size of your character determines the size of what you can carry. And when your heart is right, when your spirit is mature, the blessing will come, not just to bless you, but to bless others through you.